You're so beautiful, Rocky. Oh no, where Rocky go? There he is. What is he doing? Happy days, y'all. Hello, everybody, and a pleasant good afternoon or possibly good evening to all of you wonderful people out there. I hope you all had a lovely weekend, memorable, got to spend time with friends, family, relax for yourself. Maybe, take a breather from a 5-day week at work or a 5-day week at at school. But I don't want to waste any time, guys. I have been asked by a lot of people to talk about this for autism, and so we are continuing our Autism Awareness Acceptance Month on the channel today or tonight. And in this episode, guys, we are going to talk about one thing regarding autism that Nana doesn't get talked about a lot, okay? And it is having an autistic patient in the hospital. And what I actually mean by that is like for a doctor, a CNA, a nurse, an RN, anything that works in a ER or a hospital, how do you deal with a patient who has autism? How do you approach a patient that has autism, and how do you make them understand everything that is going to go on during the time and during the stay that they are in the ER? And it's really, really important, guys, that I do talk about this because number one, it does not get talked about enough. And that is one reason I am doing it. Of course, there are many others, guys, but that's what we're going to talk about in this episode. Okay, so I'm going to start off with why would somebody, a child, a teen, or an adult, why would they come in to the ER or a general hospital with autism? Okay, literally, guys, people with autism are very, very high likely to be in the ER at multiple points of their life. According to the autistic community and the Autistic Association, guys, over 75% of teens, young adults, children alone who are autistic or on the autism spectrum at least are highly likely to be in the ER. And out of that, like 75%, 61% of the time, they are not going to get admitted. And the reason for it, guys, is because when you think about autism and being on the autism spectrum and being autistic, a lot of the time it is a behavioral issue. And the one thing I really get upset about, and I try to not get upset about this very much, but it does get me upset, is that like there are doctors and nurses that will look at them and say they have a behavioral issue. They need, they literally look at the parent and they say, your kid maybe have autism, but he has a behavioral issue, he or she. Okay, now it is true. If they are out of control, maybe they need to be brought to the ER. But here's actually the crazy thing about the ER and with autism, okay? A lot of times, nurses and doctors in the ER do not get trained on how to deal with a patient who has autism. And that can make it very difficult because, number one, someone with autism going to the ER, number one, they don't want to be in the ER, okay? They may be afraid, they may be upset, they may be a little teeny tiny bit unhinged, but that doesn't mean they have a behavioral issue. There may be something going on that they just don't know about, okay? And the one thing I can say, guys, is it's a really big question. It's that one question: how do I deal with a patient that has autism? And what can I do to make sure they feel safe, they are safe, and everybody is safe all at the same time? Because that could be a lot to manage and a lot to process and deal with. And the answer is really, really simple, believe it or not. You got to remain calm. The number one thing is you need to remain calm. Whether you are the nurse, a social / caseworker, the doctor, registration, admission, you work in the lab. It doesn't matter what you do in a hospital or an ER, okay? You got to remain calm, okay? Because when you intense the situation, it doesn't make it any better. It doesn't make it any easier. When you kind of raise the tone, even just a little bit, it can now make that person who has autism not really want to trust you, not really want to work with you, and it literally becomes a chaotic mess for everybody. And that's the last thing we want to see. Okay, so remaining calm is definitely the number one priority. Okay, you will get a lot to the patient, a whole lot more, and be able to communicate with them when you are calm. The more calmer you can be, the better off it is going to end. And it'll end off peacefully, without a doubt. So make sure that's number one, okay? And I know I say it a lot. No matter where you go, you always want to be calmer than someone with autism, but that can be easier said than done. And all that. So I want you guys to just be aware of that and all of that. So if that makes any sense to you, okay? It may not make sense, but yeah. So guys, every single year the autism community, it gets bigger and bigger, which in a good way, is we're getting more awareness towards autism and the autistic spectrum. But there's still a lot of people out there that do not know how to deal with someone with autism. And you know what? I'm not saying that those people are bad people. I'm just saying that, it's in a way a little unfair to them because they don't know how to deal with it and all of that. So, yeah, I mean, remaining calm, make that patient who may have autism feel safe. But if you're taking someone to the ER and they have autism or on the autism spectrum, you need to let the ER know that right away. Please, that is very, very crucially important, okay? They need to know that because I'll promise you guys, it changes the ball game a little bit on how they approach and how they deal with. Guys, I've been in the ER there's been very few times I've been in the ER where it's a medical issue. And what I mean by that is like an injury, a reaction to medication. And I can explain all of that later. I don't think right now would be the most appropriate time. But I want you guys to know one thing. Make them feel safe, okay? Because, someone who's on the autism spectrum, they literally can get afraid of the ER. They hear stories. People die in the ER. People get treated like garbage. Believe me or not, guys, it may seem offensive, but yes, I've been in the ER where I've witnessed patients get treated like garbage. And you know, as a human being, that makes me sad. So just be aware. But like, here's the other thing, okay? You need to make sure also about understanding. You want this patient, even though they have autism, you want them to understand what is going on and why it is going on. But most importantly, guys, the more chill and the more calmer you can be, and the more low key, the better off it will end literally for everybody. So I just wanted to bring that up to you guys. It's very important, okay? And yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's something that needs to be addressed more and talked about more. And some people have asked me to talk about that. So that's why I was talking about it.